Okay guys, the time has finally come to do an actual rig walkthrough of Bluey, where we're gonna go through and talk about pretty much everything that's been done to Bluey. So we're gonna go ahead and dive in. So we're gonna start from the front because there is the least amount of things done to the front. So starting at the front, nothing really done to the front so far. Pretty stock. I did cut my bumper and I cut underneath it a little bit. The piece I was hanging right here originally did get a bit chipped up, so that had to go. I think it also looks a lot better. It looks a lot meaner. There's a lot more clearance in the front. We have these stock crummy headlights with scratches all over them. This is something I do plan on doing sooner than later. Well, right now we're just basically waiting till we move into our actual house, so I'll have room to do things to Bluey. I also do plan on doing things with the fog lights. I also painted this black because I hated the silver look. Going up to the top, we do have a solar panel. So I get a lot of questions on this, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Chick-fil-A. I get a lot of questions on the solar panel. This is a Renogy flexible panel. All it has on it is a bit of 3M double-sided tape, but it has been working great and it keeps my auxiliary batteries topped off. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and open this up. So one of the first things I did have to do was I did have to replace these struts because my hood wouldn't open. So that's been done. I don't know if you want to call it aftermarket. So diving into it, everything is bone stock as far as engine components go. I have a new battery, but it's nothing special because I don't have anything really running off it. So I didn't worry too much about getting a crazy battery. Here's where my dual battery system lives. I have the Red Arc BCDC 1225D. That lives right here. Everything is wired up. I did a whole video on kind of breaking this down. The only thing that has changed on this is I did add this, which is a battery charger. Under here, it's kind of dark, but there's actually a plug right here. Keep the second battery topped off. So usually I'll do that before a big trip. If I leave it open on the side of the road, people are gonna keep stopping. So let's move to the side now. I did remove these side steps. First off, I thought they were hideous and some people like them. It is kind of a barrier from actually hitting your door, which I get, I understand. I actually don't blame them at all, but I just personally hate them. So I got rid of them, gained like 4 inches of clearance. So that's been nice. But I also kept this piece right here, so a lot of people chop it off completely, but there's just some unfinished looking metal underneath there, so I didn't want that. So I do have Falcon Wild Peaks. I do have the E-rated, so they are the heavier, thicker load. I think they're 10 ply versus like 3. They've been great. I haven't had any issues with them. They're pretty quiet. I haven't really ran into any noise issues. They are 285s, which is about a 33-inch tire, and this is on stock suspension. So in order to make that fit, can't really see. Body mount chops are really hard to see anyways, but it has a body mount chop. Now let's go ahead and, before we get to the back, because that has a lot of goodies on it, let's get to the roof. So the roof is a Front Runner Slimline 2, I think they call it. I love this roof rack. I actually got it because they have so many cool accessories for it, but then I bought this big damn tent that takes up the whole thing. So yeah, I am planning on getting a new tent. I'm gonna stick with CVT though, because they have been awesome. Getting right into it, this is the Mount Rainier from CVT. I love this tent. I just hate soft shell tents. That is something I did not know I would hate, but I don't really love them. They're kind of a pain in the ass to put away. Breaking them down and opening them up is really not that hard. Putting it away is kind of a pain in the ass, especially when it's really cold. And you gotta use those zippers with your cold hands. It's the worst. So I do have auxiliary power running into it as well. Right through there, which hopefully has not let in too much water since I've been in Washington. That's the side, the front, and that. I also have this really cool Red Arc sticker that made the dual battery system totally worth it. Best part of the bill. All right, so now we're gonna move to the rear and my saggy trash road. I have my coastal off-road bumper. This thing has been an absolute dream. I am planning on doing a whole video going over how I feel on coastal off-road and their bumper to it. So let's go ahead and open it up. And so I opened everything up. Here it is. So we're gonna break everything down piece by piece. So we'll start with the tire carrier. Full-size spare on here. Everything is locked. I do have a high lift mounted to it as well, and the trash through as well. Going into the bumper itself, I do have these rear reverse lights, which are literally just this cheap $30 set on Amazon, and they have been great. I actually accidentally painted over them when I was touching up the bumper. So they're a little they're a little dark, but it's totally fine. They're super bright. They haven't fogged up yet since living in Washington, which has been amazing. I'm going to post a link to those below. There weren't no recommendation. I literally just, the first ones I saw and bought them, and they have been amazing. But yeah, this is kind of an up close and personal look at the coastal off-road bumper. Again, guys, I'm going to make a video kind of break down how much I love this bumper, what I don't like about it, and all the ins and outs. It is a do-it-yourself weld kit bumper, So I didn't do it, but I did have somebody fabricate this for me, and he did an excellent job. The bumper just looked amazing. Let's go over to this side now. This side, you guys have already seen the video on it, but this is my water system. Yes, everything still works. This setup has been amazing. I'll break more into it about the bumper and everything like that in another video. Going on to the door, I do have this really cool thing where I have this broken reverse light, which was broken when I got it, but it doesn't matter. You don't see it. I'm not too worried about it. I don't use these. I actually disconnected these reverse lights since you don't see them anyways. I do have a reverse camera, which I'll break in more when we get in the inside of the truck. But I do have this reverse camera. It was really, it's amazing. I love the actual camera, but this damn camera just likes to keep falling down. So after a ton of adjusting and adjusting, I just got fed up with it, got this L bracket, bent it into shape, and then just epoxied it. and it's been great so far. It's been like that for a couple months now, and it's been great. And look at that, it's super dirty in here. Okay guys, so here's the rear access point. I am a dad, so this is often in here, and it frankly barely fits, which is hilarious. But yeah, that's in here. Nowhere else to put it, but I do have the fridge set up. So this is one of my favorite things about the truck, and it does slide out like this and fall down. A lot of people have where the fridge pulls out completely, just flat, but I'm short, my wife is short. My baby's gonna be short, everyone in my life is short, so that was dumb. I have it like this, where I can easily go in and reach, and it also makes as a makeshift, you know, it holds this open when I'm on a hill. This likes to close, so this helps a lot. And then before we get to the drawers, something else too is I do have this table. My pops is actually a great, what do you call him, a wood craftsman, a crafter of wood, butcher, but of trees. Not a woodsman, what the fuck? Woodworker. My dad is a great woodworker, and he actually built me this table. It is absolutely gorgeous. I really do love this thing. But yeah, this table is probably my most used mod, honestly. Just have a table back here. It's a super simple, easy system. It's just a really beautiful piece of wood with a piano hinge and a screw I was looking for. Oh, would you look at that? Let's go ahead and put that right there. And I actually have some paracord. It's bolted on the actual main door frame. Originally, I just had it leaning on this door panel, but this door panel kept wanting to come off. So I have it actually drilled into the metal behind this. And so far, it's been great. I have it held up by magnets, so I just have magnets inlaid on here, right here, and it's great. It closes when it needs to. So yeah, and then I also have this paper towel holder, which was like $5 on Amazon, and it's great. It does get smashed though from the stroller being in here, because the stroller sticks out so much. But usually I'll just kind of do one of these and just kind of put it right there, so I don't have to worry about it. I do have lights here too, so this does turn on these lights right here. This has also been great. I use this a lot for random stuff, whether I'm working on my truck or whatever. I mean, I used it in the last video too, when I was doing the key fob. When we were back here, I was actually using this to do everything, and we turned these lights on just to help us out a little bit. Okay, so going right into it, one thing I don't love that we should have done with the drawers is just had a latch on one side, because it is a two-handed only operation. Come on, focus. It is a two-handed only operation, so that is kind of a bummer. I wish I would have thought that through a little bit, but it's okay. We'll deal with it. Okay, so going in, I keep these little crates in here, little boxes, and they are all pretty organized to what I keep in here. So this is my recovery gear slash kind of just tools. So it's really just a bunch of tools in there. I do have my like kinetic rope and everything is just tucked back there. But I do always keep that with me. I have some camping, these are just usually lights, fire starter, those kind of things. And then in here, it's all my food prep. Oops, smack the thing. Food prep. Food, honestly, usually doesn't live in here unless it's things like potatoes, and it doesn't matter if you get banged around. I have more of these that I just throw in the back, and I'll put more of my foods that I don't want crushed, because back here, usually things get thrown around. I have pots and pans in there that usually kind of bang up whatever's in there. So let's go ahead and close this. So back here, I do have a blanket in here. I have this in here at all times, because whether I get cold while I'm driving, or I'm camping, or the daughter gets cold, whatever, I always have an emergency blanket back there. It's super warm. I love that thing. I also have some kinetic rope as well that I keep back here. The paper towels I threw earlier in there. And then I also have, you can barely see it back there, but that's where my fuse box lives for my second battery. So I have, you know, an extra AC port. I also have 2 USBs. I use that all the time, whether it's to charge my daughter's iPad when we're on a road trip or charging my camera batteries. That gets used all the time. I kind of wish I put it somewhere else, but it lives there. Back here, I do have my stove, and then I have a few random stuff back there that just kind of gets tossed back there, like at my tripod. But yeah, that stuff just lives right there. I am planning on making a better storage system, but you'll see that when it comes out. This side is just as special. Just have some propane tanks kind of laying back there. I do have my camping chair. It does live right there pretty much permanently. And then I also have my little grill. I don't know what you really call it, but my grill skillet thing. And then my ice cream. This is just put the back seat down. Obviously, daughter's car seat and everything like that pretty much stays in here, unless I do go camping without her. But yeah, so this is kind of the rear end. So I do have these little cubbies underneath here. This is where I keep my air compressor. And then I also have a few random tools. I have, you know, extra blanket. I also have some extra paper towels and then a shovel. But yeah, just air lives back here. It's all pretty standard compressor. It's from Vi Air. It works great. I am planning on doing a whole compressor build, but that's not very important right now. So it just kind of lives back here. Not much has been done to my cabin. The only thing that's been done that I'm really stoked on is this. This is the Expedition Essentials. They call the GX PAM. So it's an accessory mount. It takes standard RAM ball mounts, just like that. This thing is amazing. There's really no good solution for having my phone out, and so I bought this system. I have this for my camera, so if I want to record me while I'm driving or record myself, which you guys have seen before, I use this. I also have this, which is some super like $20 Amazon phone holder that I just epoxied to a RAM ball mount and mounted it using this, and it's been amazing because this charges my phone. It has an automatic release. It's just amazing. I can't say enough good things about this and about this little thing. I'll drop all of this in the links below because it's amazing. I also have this up here, which this actually is my rear view camera. So it's live. So it's always feeding because, as you can tell just by being in the back, you can't really see out the back door. So yeah, this has been amazing. And when it turns off, it's also pretty much glass-like, so I can still see the L in the back, and that's all good. All right, guys, so thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I'm probably going to do more rig walkarounds when I start hanging out with more friends. Once COVID starts kind of slowing down and stop being a thing, that's probably going to be my next thing, is hang out with friends again. But no, really, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to answer a few questions here that I got. I wanted to address as many things as I could in this video about Bluey, about GX470 as an off-roading or overland build. So let's get into it. So one of the questions I got were, what other vehicles did you consider before Bluey or the GX470? So that's actually super interesting because I didn't go out looking for GX470. I actually went out looking for a Land Cruiser, and I really wanted one. They wanted a weird amount of money, and it just didn't seem worth it because I wanted an 80 series, and I don't love the engine in the 80 series, so I just wanted that solid front end. That's all I really wanted. So I think I might still do that later on and just have that as my kind of beater rig, but we'll see. I'm not too sure what we're going to do there, but yeah, that's still to be decided. But yeah, so I did consider a Land Cruiser. That was my first thing I was looking for. So somebody else kind of asked a very similar question of what other vehicles would I recommend for this. GX470 will always be at the top of my list. They are weirdly pricey now. I got a good deal on mine. It was before the whole thing skyrocketed. But I always 100% GX470 is amazing. GX460 is amazing. Toyota in general is amazing. If you don't want to spend as much money, so the old 4Runner is honestly probably my first pick, just because I am a Toyota fanboy at this point. And you can't beat the reliability of a Toyota, especially the older 4Runners and things like that. They're amazing. So honestly, an old Tacoma, an old 4Runner, really good budget Toyota options. If you don't care for Toyota and you want something like a Jeep, honestly, the XJs. I've been thinking about getting an XJ for a beater rig as well, because you can get them for like $1,200, and they're amazing. They obviously don't have the dependability and reliability, but it's a solid front axle vehicle, so it's a lot more capable than what my truck is, with a lot less money spent into it. So that would be my first picks for overlanding, off-roading, adventure vehicle, whatever. So someone asked, what's my favorite mod I've done so far? So I've briefly touched on this, but honestly, I think my favorite thing, it sounds silly, but is probably my fridge. This was before I moved to Washington, but in Arizona, keeping an ice chest was a pain in the ass, especially if you were going out in the desert where it's hot, or even just a road trip. Ice chests suck. You could, go out and buy a nice one and keep your ice in there, get blocks of ice instead, whatever. But dealing with ice was a pain in the butt. Even if it melted a little bit, everything in there gets soaked. So I hated ice chests. I really did. And I didn't want to spend the money on a nice ice chest because I just hadn't had a good experience with ice chests. So yeah, I bought the fridge and that thing was amazing. I bought a really cheap one though, so it does drain my battery pretty quick. But ever since moving up here, I haven't even turned it on, and it stays at like 40 degrees, which is pretty crazy because I keep it at like 38, usually depending on what's in it. But yeah, that was kind of a surprise. I love the fridge. So fridge is amazing. 100% first choice. That kind of ties into my dual battery, but yeah, fridge for sure. Someone asked me what's the favorite thing Bluey has brought me, and it's brought me. This sounds silly and corny, but the GX470 the GX community, the GXOR, has been one of the best things about owning this truck is being a part of that. Everyone is super helpful. Everyone is super knowledgeable. It's a great community. I've seen some of the Jeep forums, even the 4Runner forums and things like that. People aren't great. Even Land Cruiser. It's just a lot of salt in those groups. But the GXR group has been amazing. I recommend everyone go out and buy a GX just so you can join the GXR group, or buy, the 4Runner that had the same engine. Whatever excuse you need, get into that group because it's amazing. Everyone in there is super helpful and a lot of sick rigs out there. But yeah, that's probably been the favorite thing so far, alongside of obviously going out on these trips and doing these kind of adventures and making more YouTube videos. So guys, this video is going to be all over the place. Super last minute. I wanted to film this, but I really haven't had much extra time lately. I'm in between getting a new job, moving. We're still trying to figure out all that situation, and I'm still working a ton right now. So I wanted to get this out before New Year's. So it's a little rushed, but what I'm going to do every year is kind of have an end of the year build. And if I have 1 truck, 2 trucks, 3 trucks, whatever, I'll have one for each one. But I want to kind of have a little, from year to year progression. So every year you can watch these videos and see, like this is what's been done. And I will make videos along the way, kind of walking everything I've done. But I want, to catalog this. I want this to be, okay, this is 2020. This is what happened to Bluey. 2021, this is what happened to Bluey. 2022, whatever. I want that. So I've had the truck since May and it's now December. So yeah, lots been done to this truck. A little has been done to this truck. More needs to be done to this truck. I wanted to break down more of what I plan to do, but I think that should be a surprise. I think I should just surprise you guys. That's funner. Plus, if I change my mind, no one holds it against me. Safer too. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. That's all I have for today's video. If you have any questions, if you saw something on the truck, you're like, hey, what was that thing right there? And I didn't call it out, just put a tag below and say, or a timestamp. Say, hey, at this time, what the hell was that? I'm more than happy to answer any questions. I'm going to drop all the links below. If I forget any, just remind me, guys. I'm still human. But yeah, that's all I have, guys. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next year. Peace.